Earnestly podcast here, doing False Count Anywhere. We're back after a week and a few days absence here from the podcast, as we have a lot to talk about today in the wrestling world on False Count Anywhere. Of course, we do this every single week we can, joined by, of course, 1/3 of the Minor podcast, also the host of the Rob the Genius podcast. He's back. I just realized we haven't recorded a show, Rob, you and I, on this in about 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
My bad.
No worries, man.
I took a break. I actually took a break. I took a week. It was supposed to be 2 weeks. I took a week off for recording. I just need a break. But we're back. So how you doing, buddy? How's everything going? Are you stowed in there? What's going on? How cold is it down there? Up here?
Well, it's funny because my little area of Maryland, we actually dodged the worst of it. Like, the Eastern Shore got double digits. The northern part of the state got like double digits, but like everything from like the middle on down, like the central and west and southern part of Maryland didn't really get a whole lot. So we lucked out this time because, back in, I think it was January, I think.
Yeah.
Like we got buried. And like there's still some lingering snow from that one. It hasn't all melted yet.
Right.
But thankfully this time we were spared.
Well, it's we're kind of it's cold here for us here too. Also, obviously
what counts as cold for you?
I don't know. I'd say that when I say cold. Well, as of right now, it is 55 degrees.
Oh wow!
It was 49 this morning.
Oh no! No!
Sound the alarm! Yeah, sound the alarm. No, I went to school this morning in my PJs, in my Crocs. Okay, I'm not worried about the cold here, bro. It's nothing. So we have a lot to get to today on the show. This week is go home week. We have Elimination Chamber coming up this Saturday on ESPN. A couple of topics I want to get at. I want to do another topic, fun topic here with you about erase one wrestler history. We'll reveal the 4 wrestlers who will debate. AJ Styles and some nice news we found last night on Raw. Then of course I want to dive a little bit more also to the Seth Rollins CM Punk feud. But I want to discuss, because we are now in WrestleMania season, Rob. I want to discuss with you what's going on with the lead up right now, and more so ticket sales. And I want to play a video real quick from a content creator. I don't know who he is, but basically he's talking about the lead up to Mania, and basically that sales apparently aren't doing that great. Here's his video real quick. We'll react to it.
With the discounts, WrestleMania 42 tickets are still not selling well, and I am so happy. The ticket sales for WrestleMania 42 has gotten so bad that WWE last weekend discounted the prices. And it says despite the prices being discounted, there appears to be zero movement at the lower prices. Thank you. Good job to all you fans out there that's not giving WWE any of your money, because they have to understand that these prices are astronomically high. And the only way they'll go down is if they continue to not meet the quotas for the ticket prices. Keep on putting the good work in. And the only match they have advertised so far is Roman Reigns and CM Punk. That's it. That's a great main event, but that can't sell tickets. Okay? You know it's bad when even when you lower the prices, there's still no movement whatsoever. So there has to be more work done. Continue to not buy tickets, everyone. It's working. WWE, get your shit together. We're not falling for the propaganda anymore. It's ridiculous.
All right. Have you heard the same thing recently? Because I know you're obviously in a part of the community, of course, and you're very much informed what's going on in the world of wrestling and whatnot. I hadn't heard much about ticket sales recently until I heard this video, and then I'm doing research. I'm seeing some things out there, but obviously there's a lot of feelings, and you know how I feel. People listen to the podcast know where I stand with WWE right now. I'm on a sort of boycott right now. Like, for example, I SmackDown was here on Friday. I didn't go. I wanted to go, but I also don't want to pay, $200-$300 for a ticket for a show that they're not putting much into. On top of that, you already know my disdain for what's happened with the way they operate the business. Of course, the Mania, they pulled the rug from New Orleans last year after announcing New Orleans, and they put it back in Vegas again this year. So they TKO's operated in ways that some of the hardcores are starting to get really, really fed up with the way they're doing business now. And maybe this is what we've been saying on the show for the last year. The best way to get back at WWE is to not put money in their pockets. And maybe if this video is true, maybe that we're seeing that shift finally. Rob, your thoughts?
Okay, so I've seen all the reports, and so there are a couple of things. One, I mean, obviously the prices are too high, because they're up from even last year, so they're just too high.
The higher this year, they're higher this year.
From what I understand, because this is according to Meltzer, that the prices are higher this year than last year. Yeah. Because and they're just too high, and because TKO, like the people that run TKO, they keep conflating WWE with UFC, and it's not the same fan base. They're trying to wish it into existence for the WWE fan base to be like the UFC fan base. They're not, and they can keep trying to make the WWE fan base more like the UFC fan base, but they're not, and and so the ticket prices are too high, and Vegas is not. I mean, the location. Like, I know people love going to Las Vegas, but it's just not a convenient place. Generally speaking, it's not a convenient place to go to.
Right.
I mean, it's not.
You been everywhere? Vegas? You been to Vegas?
No, I've never been there. Because I mean, I'm not trying to fly away across the country, and then I mean, it's just,
I'm dying to go to Vegas. I may be there twice next year, so we'll see.
I mean, I'd like to go. I mean, it is one of those things I'd like to do, at some point. But it's just either the timing is never right, or I don't have money to fly out there or whatever. But it's not convenient, and so they're going. I mean, like, people will do it 1 year, but they're going back there 2 years in a row. I mean, I promise you, there are people who went last year who kind of sucked it up and went last year, and then as soon as they said they were going back this year, it's like, a hell no. So it's not a convenient location. You can go there every once in a while, maybe every 4 or 5 years, maybe. But going there back to back years is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because so the tickets are too much. You got to flying out to Vegas costs a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
depends where you live. For you, probably a little higher. From us,
Florida, most
it's not as bad, but still,
most people more people live like on the East Coast and just in the country,
right? Of course,
like California,
right?
So for most people, flying there it's a lot. And then so you got to get a hotel and all that stuff, and then
plus food, plus transportation, everything else that goes into it.
And
my boy, I said this last year. My friend of mine went to Mania last year. He for one night alone, for one ticket, sitting on top of Allegiant Stadium, he paid $700 for one ticket.
Yeah. So now I got to go look up how much I paid to go to, because I went to night 2 of WrestleMania 40.
Right.
And that whole trip, the whole weekend, I went to night 2. I went up there on I took the train up there. Went up there got to Philadelphia on Friday night. So I had a hotel for 3 nights. Yeah. Well, Friday, Saturday, yeah, 3 nights, hotel, 3 nights, train up, train back. And then ticket for WrestleMania. I went to a meet and greet, and I went to a Ring of Honor show Friday night. And so I did all that, and I think the whole trip was it was less than $1,000 for the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And and now, I mean, it's just,
and that's just 2 years ago. That's literally just 2 years ago.
Yeah,
nothing shifted really.
And that's
tariffs, I guess.
Really, again, and that's that's transportation, hotel, a whole nother ticket for a whole other show, going to a meet and greet, and all of that was just it. I did that, and that whole trip was less than it was less than $1,000, or maybe around $1,000 for the whole thing, and so now, I mean, it would cost significantly more than that to go now just to buy a ticket for the show, right? And
right.
And then on top of it, and then so there's that. Again, the location is not good. So when you got both of those things off the top, like, you have to really be into what they're doing right now to go. Unless you're just somebody who just goes every year, right? If you're one of those who just has the money, you just go every year regardless. But like those of us who if you have to make a decision whether or not to go every year,
right,
then, and they're charging this much, and they're in this really inconvenient location, then you got to really be into what they're doing right now. And I can tell you, because I'm, from the various numbers I look at, I mean, it's cooled off significantly.
Mm-hmm.
From a year ago, even. So,
not to mention too, the creative too. Also, like,
that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, well, it's cool, and it's cooled off because I mean, there are a couple of things they did, like the scene, like there are about 3 or 4 points during the whole Cena thing that just really pissed people off. Right, the Travis Scott thing at WrestleMania, the Brock Lesnar thing at WrestlePalooza, and then the Gunther match at the end. Those 3 things pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I know some people think that the Gunther thing was brilliant art and all of that, but it pissed off a lot of people. Okay. Whether you think it was brilliant art or not, it pissed off a lot of people. They didn't. So they did some very specific things that pissed off a lot of people creatively. And then they did some other things creatively that were just kind of like, not necessarily were bad, but that didn't really get people really excited about anything. And so there's a lot of that going on. Also, I mean, and not to get political here, but a lot of economic indicators are not very good right now,
which we warned about last year.
Yes.
Following WrestleMania and everything leading up to this. So but kind of sort of, not bragging here, but we were kind of right. We warned about this like last summer, like the things they were doing, the the pulling the rug from New Orleans, and and look, I'm a capitalist. I get it. Like, I'm okay with companies making money, but there is a risk. There's a risk, especially with WWE doing this, TKO treating, like as you say, treating this like it's UFC. This is not UFC, okay? WWE has most of WWE's audience is very blue collar, middle class. They can't afford these extravagant trips to Vegas for this. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I mean, look. Here's my thing. The sales thing probably obviously frustrating. Is this a sign of things to come? Like, I heard that SmackDown. Look, I just said I would SmackDown was here on Friday night. I didn't go, and supposedly there's a lot of empty seats there too. Also, okay, and this is also the area where it does pretty well normally. because I think people are starting to catch on. Like, hey, listen, this is I'm getting priced out here. I said this. You said this last year. There's a risk again priced out. Okay, and maybe this is the swing now that the WWE now is starting to see. Like, oh, maybe we better calm down with all this shit we're doing now. The fragmenting all the other content, which I get it. Because for the record, what WWE's doing is not exclusive to them. The NFL is doing it too. Also, they're taking games and score games here and put on different networks. So I get that. The NBA doing the same thing too. So I get that. They're finding ways to make money. Not against that. But there's, at some point, there's got to be a limit of how you start stretching a dollar and stretching your fan base, especially with WWE. As I said, where the majority of the base is blue collar middle class. Okay. Meanwhile, also too, the way of the world, tariffs still a thing. Although it was real illegal last week. Tariffs still a thing. Cost is still high. That's a problem. Right. Read the room, WWE, please.
Yeah. Yes. So that's the thing that they need to. So, I mean, and so like what you're seeing right now, the effects of decision making from last year, right? Because nothing ever hits immediately, right?
Right.
It takes time for the effects to really kick in. So right now you're seeing the effects of decisions they made last year. So if they get their heads out of their asses and get things together this year, you may not see a noticeable rebound till next year. And now that I think as far as their weekly TV, the attendance is still holding up. It's not. I haven't seen any reports about attendance for TV being down.
Right. I haven't seen anything on ratings yet. Also,
there are fluctuations with that, right? And especially if you've been to the same city a couple of times within the last year, then it's gonna the third time you go there, it's gonna be less, right? So I haven't seen any reports about attendance for TV being down outside of beyond any type of normal expectation. But right now, yeah, it's just, and I mean, well, right now, they've only announced, well, before Monday, they only had one match announced for WrestleMania. And so I think they're just looking at, and there's, Seth Rollins is injured. There's some matches that, because it was the original plan was going to be Seth and Roman. And so Seth Rollins getting injured kind of took a lot of steam out of the whole Vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what was supposed to be the main heel group on Raw is just isn't as exciting as they would have been within there. And then it's just there's several different kind of creative things that they aren't necessarily bad, but it's just they're not they're not getting people aren't as excited right now for a lot of what's being presented right now.
Yeah.
So you add all of that up, and
I think I texted you and DJ earlier about that. Like, cause a lot of people complain about the build, and while there's I can understand people's disappointment now so far since Rumble, it's still pretty early. You can remember too. Also, the main calendar's changed a little bit now the last couple of years, in a sense that before in the past, Mania would be mostly first week of April, or sometimes the last weekend, sometimes the 2 weeks before in March, the last 2 weeks of March. So the calendar now moved to middle April, even not to middle April, even a little edgier past middle April. So the calendar shifted a little bit now. So creative really shouldn't be picking up until really after the Chamber now, not before Chamber. So because you still got to feel, because even after Chamber this weekend, you still got to fill 6 weeks of programming on 2 different shows.
Yeah. Well, now, honestly, like I'd say over the past, that's become a bigger and bigger task of filling, like, because Rumble's at the end of January, so you have basically
And
like
actually, this last 2 years have been February. Actually,
yeah,
first week
well,
of February.
because it's usually it's like either like the last day in January or the first day in February.
Yeah, they moved the calendar again recently.
So you have basically like just a little bit over 2 months of time you got to fill.
Yeah,
and it's just um it's been harder and harder to. It's been hard. Well, I'm going to put this on Triple H because Triple H does not like. There's a lot like he puts a lot of stuff on pause during February and March, whereas because Vince was just more chaotic of a booker.
Yeah,
like he still had things happening during like he might flip the world title during February or March. Vince might or flip one of the women's titles during February or March. Like Vince would do stuff like that. Whereas, I mean, with Triple H, he gets his champions locked in. And, well, so last year when EO beat Rhea, like the Monday after Elimination Chamber, that was like the one and only time he's flipped one of his world titles during Mania season. I mean, or I should say between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
right.
Normally, he doesn't do that. Normally, like whoever champs after the Royal Rumble, whoever the champs are, they're sitting on those belts until WrestleMania. That's kind of his MO, and it's hard. It's hard to keep things interesting, and
Yeah,
then like this year so far, I mean, and on the women's side, okay, like he's been pushing newer people, but when you still have your superstar veterans still around, your audience, I mean, unless somebody really just really breaks through, people still want to see the big name veterans in those big matches.
still do. Yeah,
Okay, they still want to see Rhea and Bianca and Charlotte and Becky and Asuka. Okay, they still want to see them in those big matches. And maybe you can switch up the opponents for them, but that's what people still want to see in those big matches.
I don't think you're seeing them only on the women's side. I think you're seeing on both ends. I think you're seeing, even some degree, like the Kid Evans getting a push, Trick Williams getting a push. They're both in the chamber. You're seeing, a lot of things right now. And for the record, I don't necessarily disagree with Triple H here too, because I think you have to start doing this now, because you can't keep relying on Roman every year. You can't keep relying on Cody every year. These guys are either late 30s, early 40s, early in their 40s. AJ's gone. Cena's gone. So you can't keep relying on those guys. Now, I'm not saying those guys still can't headline WrestleMania this year, even next year, even year after that. But you do have to start developing these guys. Where we are now, Rob, right now, currently, is 2012, 13, 14, 15, where the Shield came into play, and Seth and Ambrose and Roman were there right now in 2012.
But here's the thing. At the top of the card, you got to break through. They can't just try you up there. Like you have like at the top of the card, you can't just book people to being main eventers at the top of the card, or you can't even just give people good stories and they work at the top of the card. At the top of the card is you, and so like people have to. I mean, somebody has to you break. You have to show up on day one and catch on with people, and it's real obvious.
Yeah,
like it is real obvious. Okay, Overfemi is real obvious. Right, you can't just and honestly on the women's side, I mean, now they've done some really good work with EO to get her over. But even with her, I mean, I'm just looking at different things. there's still a big difference between when she's either teaming up or wrestling against Rhea Ripley, or when she's kind of doing her own thing, right? So even Io, as much as they've gotten her over, she really isn't somebody that you can put out there as like the main character of something. Okay. There hasn't been any the last person to really break through and just storm their way to the top on the women's side was Rhea. Okay.
And before that, Bianca. I didn't say before that, Bianca.
Yeah, and exactly. And Bianca was the year before that. And that's it. I mean, like, again, you can't, they can, again, at the top of the card, they can write you great stories. You can have great matches.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But at the top of the card, it's got to be you.
Yeah, and right now you're 5 years removed from Rhea's debut, from Mania 21. You're 6 years removed from Bianca's. Oh, was it 22 that Rhea debuted Mania?
Well, Bianca's first Mania was 21, and then, well, actually, no, they're both
I think.
Both of their first Mania was 21.
Yeah, but I think Rhea had a false start. We know we had a little bit of a false start, but regardless, we haven't seen anyone really break through yet. Like Tiffany Stratton, obviously last year she had the championship last year, but I mean the consensus is that it didn't really hit in the same way that Rhea and Bianca hit. There hasn't really been a female in the last couple of years that's really, as you mentioned, punched through the wall in the same way Bianca did and Rhea did, and before that Becky and Charlotte and the Four Horsewomen. You know what I'm saying? So we haven't had that in a while. On the men's side, the people who are breaking through right now are the only person that's breaking through in the last 5 years is Gunther, really. Because everybody else has been the vets. It's been the Punks. It's been the Scotys and the Seths. You know what I mean?
And honestly, even Gunther's not somebody. Gunther's not going to make him at WrestleMania.
I think what you're saying, Gunther, is that like he's great for the WWE universe.
Yes.
I don't think and I hate to say this, I love Gunther. I don't think Gunther will be a mainstream star.
No, nothing wrong, and there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, that's not. I mean,
but nothing wrong with that. Yes, but you still need that for WWE to continue having. You need someone, and there's no one right now that has broken through that's younger than, say, Cody, for example. All the guys that have breaking through the last couple of years have been all the guys we've had for the last 10 years.
And so now, I think they do got something with Trick. Trick is really
Trick. He's coming. He's here. He's here.
And he did the whole media blitz today. Like he was everywhere. It was either today or yesterday. He was everywhere, and he is great at all of that stuff. So they got somebody with him, and Oba is another one. Like Oba, because like there are people taking videos of them doing his whole walk to the ring and all of that. That's so they got something with both of them.
You telling me the next big stars in this company gonna be black? My dude, sign me up, bro.
Well, I mean, breaking through, man, and look, and that's what's breaking. I mean, and look, they may look. I mean, they're going to do everything they can to make Braun Breaker one of those guys, and I think he'll be. I think he's like right under them as far as his final projection.
Braun. I feel like Braun has the look. He has the mouthpiece. But something feels like there's something off there.
Yeah, it feels like there's just some little thing missing.
It's something little. It's not because he's great. I love him. I think he'd be a great star. But we're talking about mainstream stars that you can put on the Tonight Show. You can put on, Jimmy Fallon. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about guys who are marketable like the Cenas. And who's the next Cena? Who's the next Roman? Who's the next Stone Cold, Rock?
I think it's Trick.
It might be.
Because he went on First Take this week. I think it's him. I think it's Trick. And I think Oba is going to be Oba's going to be right there. I think they got something with him too that they can put at that level. I think Braun Breaker is right underneath. Braun is he's going to win some world championships. He's going to main event some PLEs for sure. And he'll probably eventually main event one or two Manias at least, I'm sure. But Trick is the guy. Trick is somebody who can be the next who can step into the Roman's shoes and Cody's shoes.
He's charismatic. He's charismatic. He's good looking. He's marketable. He's great in the ring.
Yeah, he's a big enough dude to stand out.
He's a Vince guy. He has a Vinceisms also, I think.
Oh yeah. And so
I'm with you, brother.
I think it's him and Oba, really. I mean, and then they'll have some guys directly underneath them, like Braun. And look, I think Carmelo Hayes can be one of those guys who just kind of rules the Intercontinental title, U.S. title level kind of things. He can just be that guy who just rules over that for a lot of years. But look, I think creatively, here's the thing. I think right now, I mean, if I were booking it, I would put, I'd put things a little bit. I would feature the women's side more right now. But the thing is, Triple H's been really committed to trying to push like some of these newer girls.
Step back here. Yep.
But again, when it's time for the big matches, the audience, because look, you heard. Did you watch the Rumble?
I did. I watched the highlights, of course.
Okay. Biggest reaction in the women's Rumble was Brie Bella. Biggest entrance reaction was Brie Bella.
And this is the problem.
No, well, it's not. Well, no, as long as the problem.
We're talking about punching through the walls. Talking about who's the next.
So, but the thing is, I mean, I wouldn't call it. But look, at the end of the day, look, at some point, you do have to just say, hey, these are our best people. We're going to put them in the biggest spots. You can't, there are times where you just have to do that. And it can't always be about, well, we got to find the next person. We got to find the next person. Like, you got to do something today. Okay. You do, right? And sometimes, look, there are times where you just have to do something today. And
you can't blame Hunter for not trying. He's trying. He's trying things.
Yeah, but again, sometimes there are times where you got to play your best people today. And sometimes you just got to do that. Look, hey, Pat Riley, you're
boy,
Knicks and Lakers coach, and he just got his statue. He famously said, I think it was like, what, dress 12, play 7, start 5, trust 4.
Yeah.
Okay. And
you're not wrong with that.
It's WrestleMania season. It's what you do, man. It's, I mean, in those biggest matches, you just got to put your best people there, or the people that the audience are the most interested in. You got to put them in those matches.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now, I mean, and just from what kind of in some of the online spaces I kind of travel into, there isn't a whole lot of enthusiasm for these two women's title matches. Because for one, we got Stephanie and Liv Morgan. That's been settled now. That's going to be it.
Yesterday, yeah.
And right now, I mean, it looks based on just, I'd say Tiffany looks like she's going to win the chamber
and face Jade most likely.
And the thing with that is, we saw that a few times last year, and it was not great. And I don't. Again, the spaces I kind of populate, there ain't a whole lot of enthusiasm for that either. And largely because we saw it a couple times last year and it was fine. And I did, and so, I mean,
that's a problem. Like Jade is great, but she's not punched through the wall. She has not punched through the wall.
Well,
Timmy Snicker's decent. She's not punched through the wall. Bianca punched through the wall. So did Rhea the second time.
And I mean, Jade looks okay. And that's she's not a bad wrestler, but at this point, everybody knows she's not a great wrestler.
Right.
Not just the IWC nerds, like even the people in the general audience who have watched her for a couple of years, they know she's not a great wrestler.
She's there for her looks. You know that, bro. That's what it is. I'm not going to lie about it. That's not bullshit each other, bro. She's there for her looks. She's beautiful.
Yes.
She's fit.
Yeah,
she's fantastic with stick.
Yeah, and she's not a great talker either. I mean, she's fine.
She's good. No, she's good for the. As I'll say, in the heel role, she's better in the stick than the babyface. She's a better baby heel. She's a much better heel. The reason why I didn't catch on her in the first year or two. She was a babyface. Like, no, you're not a good guy, a good girl. You are a badass, or the very least a tweener.
Well, that's the thing. It's like she's not like she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't have. I don't think she has the personality to play like an evil person, right? But
she doesn't be evil. Just be a kick-ass. She's Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, but Bobby had limits as far as.
But so does she. There we go. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's been around long enough that people see that. So. And look, that just puts a ceiling on things, and and so I mean, there isn't a whole lot of excitement for the prospect of her having another match with Tiffany at WrestleMania. And then unless Rhea wins the Chamber, which is a possibility. I mean,
it might be time for Rhea to get the belt back. It's been a while.
Well, she had it just before WrestleMania she lost it last year, like on March 1st.
It's been over a year.
Problem is, well, because
I don't think they want to Cody her. I don't think they want to burn her out, because once you get the belt, there's the risk of burnout.
Well, the other thing is also that and it's another thing where I'll criticize Triple H. Like, it seems like he's afraid to just book certain stuff with the women. Like, just he keeps them. He keeps there are a lot of just big matchups that he avoids until he absolutely has to do it, and then he only does it once.
Right.
Because Rhea and Becky had one match at WrestleMania 40.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had a feud. They should not have had just one match.
Did they make it go away for a while? That's why.
Well, yeah, but then you could have had a feud leading up to WrestleMania, and WrestleMania could have been the blow-off match.
Right, I agree with you 100%. No, I mean that was around the time Becky had a contract situation. I think I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you could have had them feud up until WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania could have been the end of it.
Right.
But they just had one match. Rhea and Bianca have not had a single match against each other. They've been in some multi-woman matches, but they've never been in a singles match against each other. And again, Rhea and Bianca should have a feud. Okay, they shouldn't just end.
The problem with that, though, and this is where it can hurt Bianca more than anything else, is that because Rhea's last 2-3 years she's been peak like popularity, arguably the most popular star on the roster, arguably next to Roman and Cody and even Punk, that you're going to force Bianca to get booed, and you don't want that either. Remember, we discussed this actually on the show last year. Remember about the issue, the build to the WrestleMania when it was a 3-way. You essentially had last year 3 baby faces in that match.
Yeah, and then Bianca got booed.
There you go.
Well, at some point you got to do it though. Like, you can't. So you just never do it.
I mean,
you never do it.
Can you do that with 2 baby faces and be okay with Bianca being booed, and then once she's done with the feud, then she gets back to being cheered again? I mean, is that something we're okay with? Now, I will say to your credit, now that might work probably going forward because Bianca's been gone a while. A lot of times what helps a character is going away for a little bit, because obviously there was some fatigue of Bianca from the crowd a little bit. Okay, she's been gone for a year since injury. Okay, she's on the way back now. I've been watching her recovery on videos lately. She's on the way back. So people now, what's such a fickle society? oh, I don't like you, but now you're gone a year. I miss you. Absent patriarchal founder. I think we've reached that with Bianca now. I think.
But here's the thing. I think because he's not doing these feuds, like you're leaving money on the table, and you're making your division less interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they've never had a singles match. Bianca and Charlotte, they even had they had a couple singles matches in 2021. They haven't had one since.
Right.
By now, they should have feuded, not just had one. Last year, that whole time Tiffany was champion, she spent most of that time wrestling Nia Jax. She wrestled Nia Jax like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, all the biggest female stars right now currently are baby faces, including Charlotte Flair.
And so now, and like they almost never find anything for Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is perpetually the second or third most popular woman there. Okay. And they almost never have any plans for her. Like that, like the whole team with her and Charlotte, that was their idea. That was something that Alexa took to the creative people. That wasn't something given to them. It was like they had no plans for Alexa or Charlotte last year after WrestleMania. But just I think he needs to book more feuds between the biggest name women. He needs to book more matches between the biggest name women. And the thing about it is, if you're going to book, and that means that they got to have some back and forth. Like you can't have one person win all the matches. Right?
Yeah.
So you need to book some feuds between the biggest name women, and they can, you can decide who's going to win the blow off match. But in between, they need to trade some victories, and they need and just because look, when they did the women's revolution when it started, they Vince, like from the time that started up until Vince left, he did not shy away from making the biggest matches he could. Like just in that division, he always made the biggest matches he could. And because look, they started off, Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha started off feuding with the Bellas.
Right.
And then Becky and Charlotte and Sasha feuded with each other. And then Charlotte and Sasha feuded. And then when Alexa Bliss blew up, she feuded with Becky immediately. And then she came over and feuded with Sasha and Bayley. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And then eventually you had Charlotte and Rhea feuded, and then Becky and Bianca feuded, and then Ronda feuded with Alexa Bliss, and then the second time around she started out feuding with Charlotte. And in between that, she feuded, between going into Mania 35, she feuded with Charlotte and Becky, right?
Yep.
Vince just kept just booking the biggest matches possible. And Hunter, he avoids that. He just, he kind of picks which women he wants to push and put the belt on and try to make something happen with. And it's not that those women aren't getting over at all, that they are, but some of them are. But the biggest matches are still with the biggest matches are still with the veteran top names. And those are the matches that people will be more interested in. And again, you can bring some different opponents into the mix, but right now it looks like you're going to have. You could end up with Liv versus Stephanie, Jade versus Tiffany, and then Rhea and Charlotte and Asuka and Alexa, and the Bellas in a tag team title match, right? And then you're going to have Becky and AJ Lee for the Intercontinental title. And so now out of those 4 matches, which 2 matches do you think are going to have the most interest?
Right.
All right. And so I think, I think that kind of it drains some of the interest in the division because you're doing a bunch of stuff that it's not that people don't want to see it at all, but it's just there are things that your audience would rather see, and you're not doing it.
Right.
And then on the men's side, Yeah, I mean, look, not having Roman around, I think it does hurt not having him around. There's a difference when he's there.
You got
So
Brock though right now. Brock is back, so
yeah, and
yeah, put some juice into the lead up.
yeah,
We'll see.
and I mean, look, I think they need Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins adds something. It matters more when he's there.
Do we know anything about Seth? Whether he's come back or not anytime soon?
Haven't heard anything, but I mean, it looked like he was gonna, if he was gonna be back, it was probably gonna be the Russell Braun breaker. But now Braun is hurt, so
yeah.
Um,
Lots of key injuries. Lots of key injuries.
Yeah.
Speaking of Seth, though. Speaking of Seth, did you see him on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp last week?
I saw a little bit of it. Didn't watch the whole thing.
So I mean, I guess I should be surprised he was on that show, but you know, I tell you what, Seth's a good dude, man. I like Seth, man. Seth just tells like it is, man. I think Seth has a chance to be. If you want to go on media down the road, he can do it. He's
doing the NFL studio.
Yeah, Good Morning Football. I mean, yeah,
so,
he's a big
I think he very well would. He
knows what the fuck he's talking about, Rob. He does.
Oh yeah. So look, when he's done wrestling, look, he's probably gonna have a studio gig doing that.
Yeah. So I bring this up because we know the history of Seth Rollins and CM Punk. So, and look, there's a lot of clips from this interview I might want to share in the next couple of weeks on the show, but I want to focus on this clip first. Seth Rollins talking about his relationship with CM Punk, present day, since Punk's back in the WWE. Here's his comments.
I wouldn't say so.
You wouldn't say so?
I wouldn't say so.
Sorry. He has the question was actually something. Hold on, my bad. There you go.
You and CM Punk, y'all made up?
No, I wouldn't say so.
You wouldn't say so?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, there's obviously some sort of working relationship. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to go out there and have matches. But there's just so much. It's so complex. I think maybe once we're both away from the business or retired or have hung it up, there might be an opportunity for reconciliation there. It's just so hard for me to separate the CM Punk that there is now from the CM Punk that was a really rotten friend to me 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so it's just those wounds take time to heal, right. I think. Whether or not he cares to make the effort to do that, and I care if he makes the effort to do that, I don't know. I don't know if either of us have the time for it at the moment.
All right, so that's Seth Rollins' comments on CM Punk and whatnot. Before we get to the discussion, CM Punk was actually on Good Morning Football Super Bowl week about 2 weeks ago, and they also brought up his relationship with Seth Rollins. So here's his comments on. Actually, no, I don't have that. I forgot. That's the one I didn't. I was able to clip. Never mind. My bad. So my question is this: is this stuff is okay? Obviously, there's some real resentment between the two guys. From going back to years back when Seth first got to the company, to the main roster, and Punk left around the time he was on the way on the up and up. But are they like this shit's real, right? It's a real thing, right?
Yeah. Because basically, Punk was a kind of a dick to Seth Rollins around when Seth was in Ring of Honor. So they've been kind of not buddy with each other for some time, and then I think things maybe got a little worse when they were in WWE because Punk walked out, and then there was the whole thing where Punk went on the podcast talking about make Roman strong and and all that, and and Punk shit talked the company for a good bit while he was gone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Seth sometimes to his own detriment has been a company man. And so it's real. I mean, they're not fighting backstage or anything, but it's real that they're not friends, and there's definitely some acrimony between them. And Seth feels like basically like Punk was a dick to him, and Punk has been a dick to a lot of people.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, and look, he would tell you that himself. I'm sure he would admit to that himself. And so, it's real, man. It's now again, but they're both professional, so that they're both professional to go out there and work, and they're both of the mindset that you know if there's some business to be done, then we're going to do it. And look, Roman said the same thing about Punk. Roman, no fan of Punk either
Right.
in real life, and but he said, he said for years, look, if there's some business to do, then we're going to do it.
Yeah, I was hoping to get the clip of Punk, but apparently it's in the wrong video format. I can't play on here,
But yeah, it's
unfortunately.
just look, it's sometimes there's kind of this false sense of kumbaya that gets projected. But
I love the fact that it's real because it adds more to, because you can not like each other but still be professional and do the job that's being asked to be done. It's like anything in society, okay?
yeah,
But it adds an extra layer to when the feud's actually being done on TV. It does add an extra oomph to the feud. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
yeah. And now, also, it's like, I mean, a lot of, I think them not liking each other is just because they kind of professionally they bump heads, right? I mean, like you have a locker room full of alpha men and women, and they're all competing for space.
Mm-hmm.
And so, look, people are going to butt heads. Like, because you both want to be in the same spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
People are going to butt heads, and that's just what it is. And I mean, because it got me thinking about like that stuff on Unreal with Chelsea Green, and because
I have not watched season 2 yet. Have you watched it already?
But she talks a lot about hey, we can all be great together, and nobody has to step on anybody to get to the top. And she very much sounds like she very much believes that. And but then she's also upset at that stuff Michael Hayes said about her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And look, that might be that might all be a big work. Who knows? But you can't. I mean, if you really do want to, rise up to the top level in the company, then look, there's only two ways it happens. Either the booker just likes you enough to do it, to book you that way, or you got to fight for it in the locker room.
Totally agree.
And it's one or the other. Like either the booker likes you enough to just do it, or you gotta claw and scratch and elbow your way to the top. And then once you get there, you gotta claw and scratch and elbow your way to stay there. And it doesn't lend itself to making a lot of friends. I mean, you can be friends until y'all both want the same thing, and then either somebody's got to back down or it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And look, that's what happened. That's what happened with Charlotte and Becky.
And not for nothing. There's a story there to be told to also on TV, because I think the last time prior to Seth getting hurt, Seth did cash in, or cashed in on Punk at SummerSlam. Remember?
Yeah.
You were there, if I'm not mistaken, that night, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I was there when it happened. Yes. And,
yeah. So you have that angle, and when he gets back from injury, I'm sure they'll tell that story again at some point. You know, so
they got plenty of stuff to work with there, but
there's a lot of good creative for the top of the card for next year or two, definitely to tap into.
Yeah, and I would just say, but you got to go ahead and for Triple H. That's why I'm not more happy about Roman running the Rumble, but this is a case where man, you needed to make that match with Roman and Punk. Roman and Punk is the biggest match available, and so you just need to go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
and this is where now, on the other side of the street, Tony Khan sometimes he books those matches. Sometimes he books those matches too soon, and he does. He books a lot of those matches too soon, or he doesn't book them on a show where he can maximize the return on having it.
Right.
But at least he's going to book the match. You know you're going to get it. You know, he may book it at the wrong time, but he does book it. Okay. And so look, if Tony Khan had Rhea and Bianca on his roster, they would have had a singles match already. Okay. We wouldn't have gone, it wouldn't, you know, we wouldn't be looking at 5 years and not one singles match between the two of them. You know, like, again, he might have booked it too early, he might have booked it on the wrong show, but it would have happened.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think just, and look, I mean, like look, Drew winning the title in January, like that was Drew and Cody's idea. Like they've been pitching that to him for a while now. Look, we need to go ahead and we need to do a title. We should do a title change here. And he finally kind of relented and went along with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, I think he has a tendency to, like, he likes to put certain people in certain places, and he has a tendency, and he wants to always just kind of let stuff play out. And I think he's got to switch some of that up because, and look, and yes, did Vince do it too much? Sure. And did he do some stuff at the most inopportune time? Yes. But there's like a middle ground. Like I think the Hunter's got to do some stuff more often, especially now. Now you got to make your TV more interesting right now, because right now,
not now when, because this is Mania season. It's time.
Well, and you got to do it the whole year. I mean, and you know, and yeah, I mean, yes, and look, interest does generally from year to year. Like after Mania, there's a drop off because Netflix. I'm looking it up here because they published these are the international viewership numbers for PLEs, because they didn't have the PLE rates in the US last year. So I mean, like the most viewed PLEs last year, I mean, it was Rumble and then Mania Night, Mania Night 2, and then Mania Night 1, and then Elimination Chamber. And then, you know, because Elimination Chamber, Rock was there, and they did the whole thing with Rock and Cody and all that.
Yeah.
So, like, and then after that, like, after WrestleMania, like, WrestleMania Night 2 did 2.9 million views over the course of the year. Nothing else the rest of the year got to 2 million after WrestleMania. So, look, and that's kind of how, that's how it is, because, I mean, I compared that to, like, the last full year that they were just strictly on pay-per-view. And the pattern is the same way. Like Mania season is really big, and then there's a drop off, and then the rest of the season, you know, the rest of the year is just lower. But like you got to do stuff to keep things interesting on TV. And I think Hunter has people sit on these belts for weeks and
way
months.
Too long. Yeah, I used to be, and again, I'm someone that said through the years, I'm not a big fan of hot potato, like the Attitude Era back in the day. However, I also don't want. Look, I can understand maybe one person having the belt for a long time, like a Cody having it for a year or so. That makes sense. Top guy, I get that. But having multiple champions holding belts, even the mid cards holding for as long as they are, at some point you got to move the belt a little bit, man. It makes it interesting. Move it a little bit. Not every week, but like at least every 2 months, 3 months. What's it hurt?
Yeah, you don't need to have somebody win the belt on the pay-per-view and then lose it the next night on Raw, right?
Yeah, I mean they used that back in the day. I mean, I remember Austin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Kane.
Yeah,
but I mean that's the kind of stuff.
Different era, but again, different era, different time of TV was a bigger deal back then. We get that.
Like that's the kind of stuff we don't need now.
No. But at least a month, every 2 months, it doesn't hurt you. Like that's why I love the fact that Drew has the belt now. Yeah. Guess what? Because right now there's an argument right now that the best thing on TV right now is Drew.
Yeah, and
he's killing it right now, bro.
Yeah, and then and I can tell you just from like some of the numbers and stuff I keep track of, Right now, I mean, the biggest guy on SmackDown right now, as far as like on the babyface side, is like right now, Randy's bigger than Cody right now.
Yeah.
And then look, what and that happens like honestly, that happens with Randy periodically. Sometimes he just jumps ahead of everybody. Like sometimes people are more into him than anybody else. It happens. Just like it happens with him periodically.
Yeah. Speaking of cool things, though, Rob, last night we saw AJ Styles, leave his boots officially last night on Raw. He lost to Gunther at Rumble, but that was his last match. He didn't leave his boots in the ring at the time, but he left the boots in the ring on last night on Raw. Undertaker comes out. No, the boom, the comment nuts. Taker comes out there and tells him that he is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. So him and Stephanie McMahon are going to be headlining this year's Hall of Fame. Your thoughts on that? You think it's too soon, or you think it's perfect timing?
Why not? I mean, if he really, it looks like he really is done. So
yeah, I agree with you on that.
And so, if he's done, then why not? Why wait?
Yeah, just get the juice to get him I got now, because I think AJ's one guy. I think once he's done, he's going to be gone. I don't think he'll be around WWE. I think he'll be at WWE very, very little. Very little. I think because he has so much more attachment, so much more ties to the indie scene, that I think he'll do some stuff there. Not necessarily work there, but I don't think AJ will have the same. I don't think AJ has the same connection with the WWE in the same way he does with the indie scene. Because he came in his career.
Honestly, it seems to me like it's the opposite. I think it may have been that way when he first got there, but it's like listening to how he talks about things in the interviews and whatnot. I think he's a dyed in the wool WWE man now. Because if he was going to go somewhere else, he would have. So, and he doesn't talk about like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him. Like, he just listening to him talk about stuff, like there were people he wanted to wrestle that were not in WWE. So in order to wrestle them, he had to leave.
Right.
John Moxley, there was, basically WWE wouldn't let John Moxley do the kind of matches he wanted to do. So he had to leave. AJ doesn't really talk about, when you hear him in interviews and stuff, he never sounds like, he never talks as if there was something else he wants to do.
I agree with you on that. I think he's not wrestling at all anywhere. I just think that he won't be in. I don't see him even involved in other things with WWE out in. Look, I'm totally wrong. This is my opinion. He's seeing somebody that once he's done, he's done. He's like, okay, it's my family, and that's it. I save all my money. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll probably do some ambassador stuff right now, where he doesn't have to be there every day. I'm sure they'll have. Yeah, I mean, and probably, I mean, when all of his kids are a little older, he may come back and work backstage or something.
Yeah. The sick part too, also, AJ, is that like he's I think he's like 48 years old. Yeah, he can still go. He can still go.
Yeah. But he said that he wants to leave while
he's healthy.
Yeah, and while people, because he basically says, look, right now y'all think I'm better than I really am right now, and he would rather leave that way. He would rather leave while people think he's better than we think he's better than he thinks he is right now. And he has said that he would rather leave that way than to have people thinking that he's washed up. And again, he's 48, and he did all those crazy matches in TNA. He spent several years working in Japan, and that is just a grueling style of wrestling there. He's been doing this for over 20 years. So even though he looks good moving around the ring on TV, but he's probably hurting like hell all the time. and recovery, I'm sure, takes a lot longer now than it did before. Right. I mean, well, it's just like the NFL players, like when they, I've heard like several NFL players say this, like when they get older, like the hardest part is it takes so much longer to recover. Like, when you're a rookie, you can play Sunday and you're ready to play again like Tuesday. But as you get older, you play Sunday and then you're not ready again. You're not ready to play again until the next Sunday. It takes you that much longer to recover. And and he's probably at that point now. And so he's picking now to go and he's missed a lot of stuff with his kids growing up. He wants to make up for lost time. So yeah, I'd like him to stay around. Like he's been one of my favorite people there.
Mm-hmm.
But like again, he's not a video game character. He's not a cartoon character or something. He's a real person. And so
yeah,
it's his career and his life and his family. And so when he decides it's time, then we gotta respect that. And look,
mm-hmm.
I forgot what song it was, but Jay-Z said that if you want my old record, if you want to hear my old music, go buy my old albums. So
yeah,
we got video, right?
Yeah.
We got video from TNA, we got video from New Japan, we got video from WWE, right?
Big library of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's just so look, congratulations to him. And look, he had for somebody who came to WWE as a veteran, I guess you could call him a veteran free agent, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He might be, he's definitely one of the best ones they've ever brought in.
Yeah. Oh, without question. All right. As now this is a nice little segue as we get to the Elimination Chamber preview coming up. Of course, it'll take place this coming Saturday on ESPN in Chicago, Illinois at the United Center. We have 4 matches right now confirmed. I think this will be the only match. I think we're going to run at 4, of course. Every match has a massive thing here, importance to the show. So first match here, CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who wins?
Punk wins. Yeah.
Yeah. And why is it not Finn Balor? Number one, he's not losing the belt. He's not losing the belt. Number one in his hometown. Number two, it's already been marked as CM Punk. Why? The thing is, why would they even put a match? I hate when they do this shit, but they do this all the time. Why would they announce a title match at WrestleMania, Punk versus Roman Reigns, and then Punk has a title match against someone before that match? Makes no sense. I hate that shit when they do that.
Well, see, the problem is, again, that's how I go back to Vince, because Vince would actually do a title change sometimes during February or March. It would a match like this would actually have a little more suspense to it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah, but we know that it's not happening.
Yeah, I think Punk wins too also. So
yeah,
let's continue that. Yeah, that's what we were doing here. All right, this one I'm actually really intrigued. I think this build's been pretty good actually too. Also, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the IC title.
Look, I think AJ is going to win here. And then Becky will get back at WrestleMania.
So AJ wins the title.
Yeah.
So it'll be a celebration in Chicago for both.
Oh yeah.
Punk and AJ. I was going to say AJ by DQ, but now I'm actually sold what you said there. So I'll go AJ as well too, also to win the title altogether. All right, we have the women's elimination chamber match for a shot at obviously Jade Cargill's title, world title at WrestleMania 2042. Got Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and Raquel Rodriguez. Lots of newbies in there. A lot of newbies, a lot of veterans too also, but definitely a lot of frustrations here too. Who wins this, do you think? I think you mentioned earlier. I think you mentioned
yeah, it's either Tiffany or Rhea. Yeah. It's one or the other.
I think it's Rhea. I think it's time. I think it's time to put the belt back on her.
The only thing is that, well, so you're just gonna have Jay lose her first PLE title defense and her first big WrestleMania title match. You're gonna have her lose.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying. That's what
I mean. It's a good point, but I mean, how many more losses can reason to keep taking though? I mean, it's been.
She hasn't really taken that many losses though.
I mean, like big losses, like she hasn't won a major match in a while. That matters.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, well, because look, she's not taking pins in these matches though, mostly. I mean, and like most of the time when you see her in a match, she's winning.
I mean, are we okay with the top female? Because she is the top female right now in the company.
Yeah. So she has.
Are we okay with her being away from the belt for a year now? Are we okay with that?
I mean, well, it's been a year. But okay, well then, if I were going to put the belt back on her, I would have her be the one on the Raw. I wouldn't have her be on SmackDown. That's the thing. No, because she beats Jade, she got to come over to SmackDown,
right?
And then
right now she's on Raw, right?
Yeah, and I mean it's just if she now I mean I've seen some people thinking she might win because just for the sake of like having the biggest name in one of those title matches. But then you gotta do something with EO, so you gotta find a match to put EO in after that.
Yeah.
And then you also have to, and again, like I don't think Triple H is going to book. It just, what do you do with that match if you ever? I mean, because if you have Jay lose this one, then she's cooked, man.
True.
You're basically telling people that because this title reign she won in November. She hasn't had a big opponent for a title defense yet. So the first name opponent you give her, she just goes out there and loses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then remember she lost to Tiffany at SummerSlam. So basically, I mean, you're kind of sending the message there, really.
Right. So the safe bet is yeah. Safe bet is probably you're gonna just keep her away and just run Tiffany against Jade. I guess you're right.
But
right.
Well, I guess, but then again, you know what I mean. But they might push. He might push the panic button.
I could see Tiffany, Jade, and Rhea in the three-way. Like last year.
Yeah, I mean that could happen. It's okay if Rhea wins, then they're pushing the panic button, basically.
Right.
Because that's saying that that's really saying okay these tickets really aren't moving, and we need to put our biggest woman star in one of these world title matches, and we're just going to do it, which could happen. All right. I'm not saying it won't. It very well could happen, but it's just the problem is that if it does, then how do you book? Again, how do you book that match? Because I don't see Triple H because look at having Jade just lose to Rhea would and Rhea's a babyface, so if you lose to Rhea, it's gonna be clean. Like it's not gonna be shenanigans involved or anything.
I'll say this: if Tiffany wins this thing, Tiffany's not winning the title. I'll say.
Oh no! I mean Tiffany. If it's Jade and Tiffany, Tiffany's going out to take an L.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's just if you're gonna, it just depends, man. Because like I can't see him booking Rhea to just go in there in a singles match and just lose.
Yeah,
I can't see him doing that because she hasn't straight up lost. She hasn't lost a singles match straight up.
It's a long time.
I mean, in years, it's been like, shoot. I mean, I don't think since Hunter took over. I mean, honestly, I don't think she's lost a singles match. It just straight up since Hunter took over. So I don't see him doing it now. But
right.
Yeah, if I mean if you but yeah, if you have her beat Jaden, that's just going then basically that kills any momentum Jade has.
Right.
And it's basically just saying that
Hey,
it looks
we're
like giving up on her basically.
right. All right, finally, men's match for a shot at I think it's Drew McIntyre's title.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Tripp Williams, and Jey Uso. Nice cast of characters there, but tell me why it's not Cody Rhodes, buddy. Come on, it is Cody Rhodes. What are we doing here? It writes itself.
Okay. The only other if it's not Cody, the only other person out, I think the only other person who remotely has a chance would be Randy.
Yeah,
Other,
and it teased that him fucking with Randy the other night too. Also,
yeah. So it's I think it's either Cody or Randy.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is. And the problem is, you know, and then look, you could have because Cody still has to deal with Jacob Fatu. They haven't wrestled each other yet, so you could have Randy win the chamber and have Cody have a match with Jacob Fatu on WrestleMania. Like you could do that.
Yeah.
And Randy and Drew got plenty of history you can build into to do that match. Randy right now is like I said before, right now Randy's the bigger as far as being over with the crowd and the crowd being into what he's doing and all of that, and even like numbers and whatnot. Randy right now is bigger than the other baby faces on SmackDown.
I'll be honest with you though. I think even with that, I think no one is beating Drew at Mania, whether it's Cody or Randy. I think Drew leaves Mania as champion.
I think that would be best.
I agree, 100%. 100%. He's doing fantastic. He has probably the best story going right now in WWE since starting New Year. I love it. He's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, and he's finally gotten his run with the belt in front of people. So
right. So that's a Mania Elimination Chamber preview for this coming Sunday at ESPN. Of course, we'll see if I'll be able to watch it. We have one more topic, but I'm gonna say for next week because wife's gonna call me in a couple minutes. I want to talk to her about something important. We'll say this stuff for next week, and plus not only that, we have so much weeks to fill between now and Mania, and this will probably fill in some time for us when we do the show next week, whatever. So, hey Rob, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just as always, you can catch me, DJ, and Jason, the Mindless Wrestling Podcast. Our latest episode, we did a couple of watch-alongs.
Mm-hmm.
We watched there was the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match from the Royal Rumble between.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you watching it on what? On because Peacock is gone now.
Yeah, Peacock. The only thing on Peacock right now is I think it was Saturday night's main event. I think SmackDown reruns.
Right, but what do you have? So you watch? Because this is why I haven't done a retro podcast in a while because I don't want to do on a service that for example, YouTube is the only place that has all the stuff right now currently. But there are people who have YouTube that don't pay for YouTube that have to do ads. I don't have ads because I pay for my YouTube.
Yeah, I got YouTube Premium also. I recommend it.
It's a question. It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
So, but currently right now the library is still what pending?
Well, no. They have PLEs on Netflix now.
Okay. They have all PLEs on Netflix.
Yes. What you got to do is you got to go in the search engine, type WWE, and then a bunch of stuff will come up. It'll say like Royal Rumble Vault, WrestleMania Vault, and then you click on.
I fucking hate this shit though because I wish I had this one hub.
I don't. Well, that's how
fucking annoying, bro. I can't stand it.
Oh well, that's how the AEW stuff is on HBO Max. You got to type it in the search engine, and then you can So yeah, it's just it's it's kind of irritating, but it's there. But thankfully they put a lot of stuff in the vault on the YouTube channel, and so I would probably look there first, but like the PLEs are I mean a lot of the old PLEs are on Netflix now.
The classic main events are what on YouTube, right?
I think so. Well, the Saturday night's main event stuff is on Peacock still.
Okay.
Yeah. I know everything's
All
on
right.
Netflix now. It's irritating.
All right. Anyway, you can also follow me on X at EJChristian7, of course. Follow Scott anywhere, Partner Wrestling Podcast. We'll do another show next week. That's probably we had for we'll do definitely next week. So until next episode, we'll talk later.